All right, it's time for this month's Q&A. I asked over on Twitter, Instagram, and here on YouTube to ask me some questions. You guys did, which is awesome. Thanks for that. Let's go ahead and answer them. I got a lot of questions about the Apple Watch Series 4, which I do have, whether or not it's worth it, how it is, whether our Apple Watch in general is something that you should get. I got it on launch day, been using it ever since. Let's dive a little deeper. So of course, with the Apple Watch Series 4, the biggest thing here is that screen. It is way bigger, and at first I was like, who really cares? I mean, it's a bigger screen, it's probably gonna look good, but how much of a difference is that really going to make? And I have to say, it makes a very big difference. The big thing about that big screen is that when you get text notifications, you can read them a lot easier because everything is just bigger. And that wasn't really something I considered before, but because it's such a small screen, even though now it's bigger, like you want the most out of the screen real estate. And now with this larger screen, you are getting that. It also means there's room for these new watch faces, which look awesome. I am using the infographic one right now, and there is a lot here. I can pretty much see every complication I want. I had to like search for things to put here because I was like, I really don't need any more information, but if you want that, that's cool. I'm more of a fan of the modular one, which gives you a lot of information still, but just not quite as densely packed. And then like the fire, the water, the vapor, those all look excellent on the big screen. And besides the screen, the physical case itself is bigger, but it doesn't really feel any different, which is good. This one's 44 millimeters. I went with the big one. I had the 42 before, and honestly, you can't really tell a difference on the wrist. The raise to Siri thing that you don't have to say the keyword anymore, it works, but it's a little finicky. You kind of have to get it exactly right. I wish that worked a little bit better because I think that's a really useful feature, so you can just like instantly start talking. When it works, it's really cool, and Siri...
I'm not sure I understand.
Well, it worked that time. But when it activates, it hears you very clearly, and Siri is very, very fast here. The speed difference on the Series 4 is noticeable. So those are really the main things I noticed, and you know, on paper they kind of seem small. And in reality, they kind of are. I mean, you're doing the same things on the watch. I'm still tracking my fitness. I'm using it to tell time, using it for notifications. I haven't really changed what I'm doing. It's just an overall better experience. So is it worth it? If you're coming from a Series 2 or lower, absolutely. I was using the Series 2 before this, and it is a noticeable upgrade. If you have a Series 3, I don't know. That really depends. Go try one on, see how you like it, but it is a little pricey. So, you know, it just really depends on your situation. It is a great watch though, and it's really well done. This is probably the first Apple Watch I can think of where I'm like, just go get it if you want it. You're not gonna be disappointed. Alexander Gonas, it actually got cut off here on Instagram for whatever reason, but it'll be here. Asked P20 Pro, Note 9, or iPhone XS for photography. So I'm using the iPhone XS here. If you haven't seen my video on it, be sure to check that out. Link is down below. But that is what I use. If I wasn't gonna use the iPhone though, which you know sometimes I do, I would actually choose the Pixel. I don't love the way the Note 9 processes pictures, and the P20 Pro is kind of the same idea. The auto mode I don't think is very good at all. And if you put it in manual, it works pretty much the same as every other phone. So, you know, just straight out of the box auto mode, I use the iPhone XS, but I would choose the Pixel if I wasn't. Benjamin asked, do you ever think about switching to Panasonic cameras? So right now I'm shooting on the Sony a6300. I've had this for a few years now. It's a really, really solid camera. I actually had two of them, although I got rid of it for this RX 100 here, which video on this is coming soon as well, so stay tuned for that. But yes, I would definitely choose a Panasonic camera. And I actually used to have one. When I first got into 4K video, that was on the GH4. And that was the biggest upgrade in camera I had ever had. I loved that camera, it was really good. The main reason why I upgraded to the a6300 is because I was kind of not loving the Micro Four Thirds sensor, and I just wanted a little bit bigger sensor. Both cameras are excellent, but I will definitely go back to Panasonic, especially with some of these new releases. Lots of camera releases coming up. That kind of leads into the next question from Tom asking, have any of the recent mirrorless camera changes got me thinking of changing? And yes, definitely. I mean, the Sony a6300, like I said, is a great camera, but I've kind of reached the limits of like what it can do, and there's some features that I'm looking for that I just can't do in this camera. For instance, 4K 60 you can't do here, and things like that. But right now there's so many cameras coming out, it's really hard to keep up, so I'm gonna kind of let this season die down so that we know everything that's announced, and then I'll make a decision then. JD Tech TV asks, you're the head of the Apple AirPods development team. What is the one thing that you would change? And that kind of goes along with the sports guru's question, what do I like about AirPods and what would I change in them? The one thing that I just really think is actually wrong with them, there's a lot of things that could be improved and like changed, but the one thing that I think is like a bad decision is that there's no way to control volume on the actual AirPods. Yeah, you can do it on your watch, you can ask Siri, you can do it on the phone, but like the fact that you can't change the volume through the AirPods really doesn't make any sense. That's the one thing I would definitely change. All right, we'll do a few more. I can't read this name, so sorry there, but what is the most important thing to you in a phone? And you know, there's a lot of things that really go into phones these days. They are excellent computers, and normally I would say like the camera or the screen. But in all reality, when I look at the phones that are on the market, the one thing that I need it to do is to efficiently communicate with the people I want to communicate to. Yeah, every phone can do Instagram and Twitter and all that, so you know, I'm not really worried about that. But I use the iPhone because my whole family, all my friends, pretty much everyone I know, my coworkers, all use the iPhone and they're all on iMessage. That's really the lock in there. So the fact that I can communicate with them easily is why I use this phone, and that's the most important thing. If both of my friends and family switch to like Hello or something, I would switch too because I want to be able to communicate with them. That's the most important thing for sure. All right, so the last question is from Ralph. Sorry, Mark, not answering your question this time around. I think you just need to ask a better question. Better luck next month. Anyway, Ralph and Mark and I work together at Techno Buffalo, so that's what that's about. You should follow them over on Instagram. They post some really cool stuff, so I'll leave those links down below. But anyway, Ralph asks, what do you do when you're not shooting tech videos? Honestly, there's not that much time in between shooting tech videos. I do it all day at Techno Buffalo, and when I get home, I do it here as well. And that's mainly what I do a lot of the time because I absolutely love it. When I'm not doing that, I'm shooting video and photography for fun, like not for projects, but just to like experiment and see what I can do. I like flying the drone these days. I have the Mavic 2 Pro. But besides all of that, I absolutely love cars, so I go to different events as much as I can, and I mountain bike a lot. Unfortunately, the time change is getting dark earlier now, so I can't do it after work. Pretty much having to do it only on the weekends, but I do it as much as I can. Absolutely love that. And that's pretty much what I do in my free time. So that is it for this month's episode. If your question didn't get answered, don't worry. This happens every month, so be sure to stay tuned to Twitter, Instagram, here on YouTube. Links for those will be down below for when I ask for more questions for next month's episode. I want to thank you all so much for watching, and I really hope you enjoyed. Again, my name is Matt, and I'll see you in the next video. See ya.